Hello, everyone. It's Clint. Welcome to Sweetcast. And I have a theory. I've had a theory for a while here. I'm going to float it past you because I'm just curious. Let's think about this for a moment. It has been common knowledge for the past, we'll say 3-4 years, that the only way or the superior way to sell comic books today in today's day and age is to have a YouTube channel. Not only that, I mean, there's probably some variations of that, okay? But then you'll have another common, I think, misperception that you don't see as much now, but it used to be pretty prevalent. Again, probably about 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And that was to have a successful YouTube channel, you have to have constant conflict and drama, okay? And I think there's several reasons why those perceptions exist. But I have to say, if I'm looking at like the Ethan Ralph stuff that's happening right now, and any number, pick your internet drama, whatever, internet blood sports. At some point in time, it implodes. I can't think of an example to the contrary. Either things change and it moves away from that format, or it implodes. So, okay, so let's set that aside for a moment. Is it perhaps that the reason why YouTube channels have worked so well for promoting comics is because it requires the creator to put a lot of intensive effort into YouTube channels? So there's this inherent expectation that you need to put a lot of effort into your YouTube channel in order to grow it. Okay. On the other hand, if you think about it, let's pretend that you're going to sell comic books in a very, very traditional manner. You're going to go to shop, comic shops out there, and push your comic book, your indie book, and try to get them to buy it. You're going to go to parking lots, sell them out of your trunk, do it the Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird style when they first started their Ninja Turtle comic books. Think about that. If you put the hours of time that you might put into a YouTube channel into selling in that traditional manner, is it possible that you would actually see the same kinds of results from your efforts? I've kind of wondered about this, is if YouTube really is the number one way to sell comic books, or it requires you to get good at YouTube, to put effort into YouTube. And through all that effort that you're putting into it, you are inherently putting more effort into your comic book. Now, if it works for you, and if YouTube makes because it's forcing you to put more work into promotion of your comic book, then I guess that's a great thing. That's a fantastic thing for YouTube. Having said that, I don't believe that you have to have a YouTube channel, and I don't even believe. I think I'm not sure that you need to have social media presence to sell a comic book in today's day and age. How's that for a hot take? I think that if you're putting that same amount of effort into some kind of way to market and promote your comic book, then you're probably going to see the same kinds of benefits, perhaps. Now, this is one example, and I realize that people are going to say, a number of things. Well, it's anime artwork. That's fine. Anime artwork exists all over. I've seen it everywhere. There's something notable about this Common America campaign series, and one of them is that there's 4 books out at this point. But what's so shocking to me is that, as far as I know, I don't think the creators have a YouTube presence. And if they do, it's not a very big YouTube presence. So that is genuinely impressive. So it's kind of making me rethink things at least a little bit. And part of that is, how much effort am I putting into literally anything else to make my comic book? Lately, it looks like I'm not even putting effort into my YouTube channel. YouTube has been invaluable, and I'm going to keep doing YouTube. Hopefully it'll, get a little bit better when things calm down in my life in the near future. But at the same time, I think, how many missed opportunities are there if I'm not putting effort into making a series, making books come out, finding all sorts of methods to sell those books. How much effort should I put into it? How long does it take to start selling comic books using only a YouTube channel? It actually takes quite a bit of time. I normally would recommend people at least are making videos every day for 6 months before they dare launch a campaign. And that's not to say that you couldn't do it sooner. It's to say you're unlikely, I think, to have a lot of success before that. Having said that, I don't even think 6 months is actually long enough. I think you have to be doing YouTube for at least a year before you launch your campaign if you expect to see any kind of major success. We'll say $10 to $25,000, assuming that you're doing all of your promotion just on your own YouTube channel. Clearly, there's going to be outliers, and it'll vary from creator to creator. But imagine for a moment if you put 6 months every day working on going door to door selling your comic book. Would that be absolutely awful? Yeah, it would probably suck quite a bit. But you would actually talk to a lot of people and probably sell a lot of comics, or at least collect a lot of email addresses to launch your campaign. So the reason why I bring this up is not to poo-poo YouTube. Not at all. I think YouTube is a fantastic tool, especially if if you enjoy it and if you're good at it, if you're passionate about it. But I often hear people ask, how can I be good at YouTube? I'm an introvert, or yada yada. There's a number of reasons why you don't want to or can't do YouTube. Well, I think there's evidence all around that you don't actually have to focus all your time and attention in getting good at YouTube. You can get good at something else. But I think the key point is that you have to put in the effort. You have to put in an intense amount of effort. You have to put in a consistent amount of effort every day, every week, for some period of time in order to build up that mailing list and build up interest in your comic book. And not only that, I'm also really seeing how making comic book series is a good idea. It builds up those characters to readers. It gives them more opportunities to get into the series and buy existing books. I think there's something to that. I also believe one more thing I heard your boy Zach say in a video. I don't know how long ago it was, but he was saying that crowdfunding is going to end or something like that. His point was that if you are backing a campaign and you're getting the book shipped to you almost immediately, what is the difference between crowdfunding and just releasing a book and buying the book? What it really is the difference? And I think the difference absolutely gets blurred. I still think crowdfunding is going to exist, but I do see an appetite from a large and growing number of supporters and backers that want to see that book very quickly. So, yeah, I mean, can you actually sell more books off of your own website? Can you sell more books? I mean, any number of ways. I still think there's a place for crowdfunding, but it's definitely food for thought. I see in the next 3 years, I see comic books changing quite a bit. The industry is definitely moving to a more creator-centered industry where creators are doing their own thing without major publishers, which I think ultimately is a pretty positive thing. But I also see that moving away from the crowdfunding Wild West model that we had seen for a few years. I suspect and I will predict that there's going to be a bit more structure, and it's going to become maybe a little bit more difficult to do things as they have been done in a repeatable way, it seems like, for creator after creator. I could be wrong, absolutely. Let me know if you disagree, and I hope if you disagree, and whatever. If you disagree, you could do so kindly. I really appreciate that. Anyway, thank you for watching my video, and don't forget to check out my crowdfunding comic books. Gosh, here's my whole list here. Downcast 3, Submerged, This is volume 3, not to be confused with issue 3. This is hopefully going to ship soon. I don't want to put a definitive date on it because I don't have the books yet, but I'm waiting for just the final touches, which are Downcast 3, the books. They're all printed, they're being bound, and so I'm not sure how long that'll take. But as soon as I get the books, I will begin fulfillment. I can tell you that. Fatal is also making some fantastic progress. It is not quite as far along as Downcast is, but I'm looking forward to shipping that book out, and I really appreciate everybody for their support. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.